That's right, Sean. It's
Highly
pathetic.
recommend.
It's pathetic.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
That
We
was
were all fired up.
insane.
It's pathetic. We're talking about watching the new
Not
Guitar Center
talking
CEO.
about the molasses. He's
The molasses. It's pathetic. No, the Guitar Center CEO guy.
Dude, we got Fred Rogers from
Friggin'
Ireland.
Ireland. No one can beat that.
Dumb question.
No one can beat it.
Anyone
Hello,
in the
James
DC
White.
area know a good spot to jam?
The DC area?
To jam with others.
Well, I think there should be places in the DC area
Yeah, I'm sure.
to jam. I don't know.
You find a club,
I don't
dude.
know.
You find a club with an
Like,
open mic.
yeah, do they have, I
Easy.
mean, yeah, I don't know. Do you
You
think
got
there's
this.
lots of open mics
Maybe.
in large places like that?
I know a band up
I
in
mean,
DC.
you know, Nashville was probably a little different, but I don't know. It's really the only large place I've ever lived. We got Alex, we
Surrender.
got Eric, we got James.
Hello.
James is having fresh ground Guatemala beans.
Beans, baby, beans.
I don't know where these beans are from. They're just in a little jug of cold brew that lives in my
Same.
refrigerator.
I got the same jug. I get the purple one
My
because
wife
it
doesn't
has
change
espresso.
it out.
Who knows?
By
what
God,
happens.
no, I know. Actually, it's usually I have to stop and get it on the way home because we ran out. She's like, "Can you please get coffee?"
Christy, stop drinking all the damn coffee.
She needs it, Sean. She works very hard.
We got Matt in here. What's up, Matt? Yeah, she does need it. We all need it.
She needs it.
I
She's
can't
going
stop
to see.
running.
Do you know where she's going tonight?
Where's she going?
With me, your pal.
Oh, I know
Johnny
where you're
Rob.
going. I know where you're going. You want to let it out to him? We got daddy numbers in the chat.
What?
Steve numbers. Woo, 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 woo.
Been hanging out with rock stars.
Oh shit, who you been hanging out with?
Last week, has been hanging out with Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's what
Rock
Steve
and Roll
Numbers
Hall
does.
of Fame.
That's what the man does.
D.
Anytime I hear about Steve, he's hanging.
He's hanging.
He's steady
Richie
hanging.
Furay from the Buffalo Bills.
Richie
They're
Furay.
going on a cruise together.
They're going on a cruise together. Well, that's dope. Is it a blues cruise?
It is a
It's a blues
Yes, dude.
cruise.
friends and family discount.
I kind of.
And not to be confused with a booze cruise.
I think we should go at some point in the future. Not no time soon, but in the future. I think we have to go on a rock or blues cruise.
Oh my God.
And film the whole experience.
I,
Front to back.
here's
Good, bad, and ugly.
Listen, here's what we need to do. We need to go on the next one that Eddie's on with Joe Bonamassa.
Yes.
And just be his, like, follow him around like little dumb, you know, just be like, oh my God, we're here.
Throw
We're
things
the-
at
the-
Joe Bonamassa be like, ah.
How much fun would that be?
That would be fun.
And I feel like if Eddie's there, we might have a little bit of backdoor accent. You know what I mean? A little
Just
bit of.
make it fun and funny.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like, you just, like, make an ass out of you.
Like,
we
imagine,
just go nuts the whole
imagine
time.
if we could be like the Bill Murray
Yes.
from the Crossroads Festival.
Yes.
Just come out and say dumb stuff.
Yep.
There we go.
I mean, tell me that's not a great thing.
Walk out there. You guys excited for Led Zeppelin?
Or
Here's Joe Bonamassa. You leave the stage.
Jobo. Rob says my beard lost some length. It did lose a little length. I had to have my summer trim up.
People got a damn ruler out on their television right now, Johnny. They're
Listen,
measuring that thing
my son the other day was talking trash to me about an Instagram reel that I put up.
Mm-hmm.
He said, he's like, you look like a hobo. And I said, what? He's like, well, this is the first one where you cut your hair and your beard, so maybe people will think you had a tragic hair accident. I'm like, what does that even mean? I'm like, you're 11, shut up. I don't know.
Does he have Instagram?
He doesn't have Instagram. He was looking at Instagram over my own shoulder, which I'm like, hey, don't look over people's shoulders at homes. You don't know what you're gonna see. But anyways, back to where we're going tonight. We're going to see Ringo Starr's All-Star Band with Steve Lukather.
You know, I heard they give Steve Lukather a 15-minute solo where he explains
He
to
just
you
talks.
how important he is to the music at large right now.
Did you hear that? That was the Hungarian minor scale. We love Steve Lukather. Now, I am kind of excited to see Steve Lukather. I know that they'd play Rosanna in Africa
Yep.
in the set list, so I'm excited. I also didn't realize that you know who was in the first Ringo Starr All-Star Band?
Who's that?
Joe Walsh. I left that out. I watched this little bio of Joe Walsh this morning, like in the YouTube short, and I was very excited. I learned all sorts of facts, and I already love Joe Walsh, but now I love him even more. But
He's a legend.
He was in the first lineup. Was Joe Walsh?
Yeah. That's crazy.
You know.
Joe Walsh just out there killing it.
He says, Mary McShee says Ringo's the chillest Beatle for sure. My wife really does love Ringo, and I used to make a lot of fun of her for liking like the shittiest Beatle. I'd be like, oh yeah, but you know,
I mean,
I've
you're not
matured
wrong.
and I realized that his drumming is, you know, whatever. Uncle Bob just got a car bell ray. That's a good. I feel like a car amp, new amp day is a good new amp day. Car amps are pretty kind of amazing, to be fair.
Lukather is better than Walsh, is what Brian Carpenter said.
I mean, like, you know, in a sterile, boring, technical way.
Shit. Shit. I didn't even get it out, boys. You see that?
I'm sorry.
Y'all think I'm the asshole.
Well,
No, straight
I
up.
have
though.
my moments.
Hang on.
Have my
I
moments.
do agree. That is the right answer. I mean, what's better, soul or technicality?
Joe Walsh is just a rock star. I mean, Lukather's a rock star too, but I feel like Lukather tries so hard. Now, Lukather is an amazing player. Like, he's an amazing player. I mean, he really is. And he's an amazing session guy. And I think you kind of have to have some of that ego to be a session guy in that time frame.
Oh, yeah.
I think you had to walk in and be like, I'm the man. Nobody can do it but me. So I get that. And I don't dislike Lukather at all. I resonate more with the Joe Walsh music.
Ned said, I've been calling him Steve, look at her this whole time. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. Joe Walsh is just such an energy.
Mighty Woodrow. Joe, that's the thing about Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not even. I mean, he is a great player. Don't get me wrong, and he plays some
Yeah.
pretty amazing like right parts for songs like a lot of the Eagles
Yes.
stuff and stuff. But you know, I
Well-
just love everything about him. He's like the whole package.
I watched the thing about Billy Corgan last night because if you haven't seen, Billy Corgan has been making an ass out of himself once again lately.
For years. He's been doing that.
You know, Steve,
And also, I love Billy Corgan's music.
I do, too.
I love his music.
Oh, my God,
And
but-
I kind of have gotten to the point where I appreciate him. Like, I kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
watch it with a little bit of like endearment.
did you see the Stone
Like you,
Temple
asshole.
Pilots thing?
No.
So in Plush, they say, you know, he's got the line, he's like, and I feel it, right? Well, in his own podcast, he's sitting there interviewing the guys from Stone Temple Pilots, and he's like, yeah, you know, Scott ripped off my song. And he's like, you guys will know the record. And he points out the exact song. And there are no lyrics in it that match what he says to them. Like, the guy pulls up both the songs and shows the parts. None of it makes sense. Billy Corgan.
That's
just-
when you've gone too far down your own sort of, you know.
So what I do want to point out is Billy Corgan seems to have a really interesting way of only picking out the dead guys.
Well, but some
You know?
people just think that, you know, they're the genius and like everything must have gone. They must have gotten it from
was
me,
me.
right?
It
It
was
could be
me.
like some shared, you know,
No.
inspiration.
Yeah,
or whatever.
kinship or any
No.
of that. No. And then on top of that, and this goes back to the Steve Lukather Joe Walsh comparison here too, because Steve Lukather, like, if you want to be remembered in history as being a cool guy, do what Joe Walsh does. Be a cool guy.
Mighty Woodrow says there's a video listing all the claims he makes of people ripping him off. Do me, you, and Woodrow need to do a Smashing Pumpkins tribute band?
That would be hilarious.
Who's shaving their head? One of us got to shave our head. Unless we do the weird, like, curly-headed Billy Corgan face.
Well, we could do it if somebody shaves their head. I'll grow my hair out, and then I'll be young Corgan. We'll do it like through the ages, you know?
Okay, all right.
Rock
all the
of Ages.
faces. All the
Teenage
faces.
fat.
Oh yeah, the whole thing, dude. Yeah.
Brian
Vampire,
Carpenter.
fat vampire.
Brian Carpenter, just know that I love you and that it is fine that you like Steve Lukather better. He just said this is my opinion. I didn't mean to be like harsh or anything there.
They said that? What was it?
Oh, he was just saying that was just his opinion.
Oh,
that's,
yeah,
that's
no,
a
no,
fine
you're good,
opinion,
man. Yeah.
That's a fine opinion. I think a lot of people probably share that opinion.
Yeah.
I just love Joe Walsh.
I saw a
whole heart.
post before we started from Charlemagne the God. He said, cancel culture is canceled. It's okay to have opinions and argue about them now. So it's fine. We're all good. I'd rather have conversations like this than not, and be like, no, everybody's just the best ever. We're all great friends.
Mighty Woodrow says he'll get a bald wig and he'll look like a cone head.
Yes,
that is a
man.
lot of hair to put under a bald wig. Trick or treat. I don't know if this is AZ or Arizona.
Yeah, that was the one I was about to read.
Joe lost me when he didn't stand up for Felder. I don't know. I mean, I feel like those
Listen.
situations are tricky. Like when you're Joe Walsh and your life has kind of been falling apart, and then you're like, I'm in the Eagles. I don't know. Because I don't know. I mean, I like Felder, but he kind of comes across as a little bitch.
I was gonna say.
And now listen, don't
know.
get me wrong. Henley and
Glenn
you know
Fry?
they're assholes. I mean they are. They're not like they're
If
horrible.
you've seen the documentary, you
but
know
also
they're dicks. But Don
They
Felder is kind of a bitch about it the whole time. It's like if he would have just instead of being like, well, fine, I'm not gonna.
well, I think again, if you're Felder and you're in the Eagles and you know how it is, and you write a song like Hotel California, or what's the other one? What kind of love? Victim of Love.
Yep.
Don Henley's singing it. You're not gonna sing it because Don Henley's in your band.
Yeah.
That'd be like me being. I mean, like I just.
It's just what it is.
It's just what it is.
It's okay though, because guess what? You're still in the Eagles. Sorry, you were still in the
And
Eagles.
you're still making all the money from writing that song. Don Henley singing it doesn't change a darn thing.
And if you like, I could understand him
And
being frustrated, but here's how you answer
Me
that
too.
frustration. You don't wimp out about it. You go, bitch, I wrote Hotel California. You know?
Yeah. And
and you hit 'em with
I do
that,
think,
and they're gonna sit back and go, all right,
and
you're right.
I do think it's
I'm
a
still
little
singing it.
screwed up. The whole ultimatum when they come back that they were going to pay everybody.
Yeah.
That is a whole weird thing. And as
Oh,
much
yeah.
as I love the Eagles,
It's not right, but it's also like
I do hate that. I think that's a bit of a blemish
it is. Yeah.
on the thing.
Well, especially whenever
Everyone
you,
here loves the Eagles except for one person who may or may not be in the massage chair. He loves them almost as much as Steely Dan, but not quite.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Let's see. Trick or Treat says, I don't disagree because that kind of money is plenty for all. Yes, seriously. I'd like to have just a tiny little bit. I just think, yeah, I mean, for sure, more credit's due. Because I do think a lot of people don't even remember Felder's name if you're not like a guitar player, music fan. But don't forget, Don did backup vocals on Felder's Heavy Metal. So, there you go.
Yeah, man.
There you go.
There you go.
Hotel California, a bad Yelp review to music. It was a satire on California society.
I mean, that is one of those songs for me that I've heard so many times now that I can't even. I can't derive much joy from it anymore just because I feel like I've heard it so much.
Well, I don't want to listen to it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't ever really want to listen to it.
No,
But
me
I love
neither.
the guitar solo so much, and I love playing it, and I just think there's so much to learn for it. But I did. Now, here's an interesting thing, right? This always baffles me, like when these things happen. So yesterday, you know, I'm sitting in my little cave teaching guitar lessons for 59 hours because that's what I do on Tuesdays. And I had a kid whose dad listens to classic rock. He generally knows all these kind of classic rock songs and even some obscure stuff.
Yeah.
You know, some of the stuff he knows is like Cody Jinks, like outlaw, kind of like the newer like outlaw country or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what would be a cool one for you to learn? And I played him a little piece of the Hotel California, and he's like, what's that song? And I'm like, well, God, maybe I just suck at playing it, you know? And so I'm playing in the first little part that is obviously,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that. And I was like, it's Hotel California. He's like, yeah, I've never heard that. And so I pull it up. I was like, you'll know it. So I pull it up on Spotify, and I'm like, you know, it starts, and he's like, yeah, no, I've never listened to this one. And I'm just like, holy.
That's crazy. Because I've heard it like all throughout growing up.
I
like,
think
it
we're
was
to the
everywhere.
point where, you know.
It's fallen off a little bit, you think? Finally? In a good way? Because if you know how it is, it'll do that, and then it'll come back. It's nice.
Richard Clark says, I don't know how Linda Ronstadt put up with those clowns.
That's a good point.
I bet they weren't clowns yet. They were just kids.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I bet they hadn't have
It's-
quite the just living over friggin' Jackson Brown's apartment and
I think they
trying to write songs.
They turned into clowns the moment that Glenn Fry poured the beer on old boy's head, the banjo player, and they kicked him out. That was the moment that they were like, we're fucking on.
Can you have such a meteoric sort of rise and like just go from kind of like punk kids trying to write a song to like being superstars like that? I mean, I feel like that would mess. You start taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like good examples.
I mean, I'd like to try it.
Like,
I'd like to try it one time.
why don't
but,
we give it a shot, and
yeah,
then
no.
we'll leave a full report.
I don't know. Ned said he used to hate Fleetwood Mac too, but I don't have time for that negativity in my life. That's pretty bad. I don't know. Let's see what B. Limbs is saying. Guys, I saw on some Gear Forum or Reddit that said Levi's book is closed for orders. That is not true.
That is not true.
Not true. The only book
It's
that I know
not
of that's closed for
true.
orders right now is Mr. Dale Wilson. Now, if all of you crazy people keep ordering from Levi,
They will be.
we're gonna get there. We're gonna get to like 8 years out. But no, he's not there yet, and I don't think we're even close to there.
Yeah,
But,
I think it's got to be a good, you know.
Yeah, and that's the
Good
kind of
couple
thing
years
we would
before we
know
get there. Yeah.
pretty quickly if
He,
that was true.
He dabbed on it. He's good. Bean Lambs, he gave us a little dab emoji, so it's nice.
Yep.
Apparently, Paul McCartney is dead. Again, no.
Cool.
That's what they're telling me.
One
So
more
Rich Brian
time. Daniel,
One more
Port City
time.
says, "Morning, fellas. You should both attend the Port City AMP class in Charlotte this August."
I would. I think we're busy.
Kind of August is
Busy.
ridiculously busy, unfortunately.
Got first Friday.
But what? Look at the dates.
Yeah.
Let's
We can
see.
check it out and see.
See what's happening.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got going on, boys.
Oh, Derek's got a queued up photo of Billy Corgan that
Uh-oh.
I need to see on this screen real
Put
quick.
him up. Put him up.
Oh,
They
was
had
it?
him up. Isn't that the cover of his podcast or something like that? I mean,
I hope
you know.
not.
Yeah.
Jesus. It's like if you just took a baby, like a newborn baby, and you said, now pretend this baby was a full-grown man, full size.
Paul is Paul, but we're on like the third Paul at this point. It's like when I was a kid and my goldfish kept changing colors when I was out of town. It's a chameleon goldfish. You got to do things like that to your parents. Yeah, there you go.
Linda wasn't good, though. You don't think Linda Ronstadt wasn't good?
Watch your tone. Linda Ronstadt was
fucking
awesome.
amazing, dude.
I mean, she was fine, to be fair. Some of the stuff was better than others.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, listen.
So it was like, what were you thinking?
Everybody's
This is
got
bad,
duds, you know? But, I mean, she was hot.
Man,
It's Linda Ronstadt.
I
She's
didn't have
beautiful.
a great appreciation for Linda Ronstadt until I did this, like, I was in the house band for this Women of Rock thing up in Durham. And, like, it was all these different, you know, female artists singing. They got to pick whatever songs. And it was, like, 17 Linda Ronstadt songs and, like, a Bonnie Raitt song. I was like, my
Jonathan
God.
figured it out that day.
I was like, wow, these
said,
are
"Shit."
pretty good. The Linda Ronstadt tumbling dice is pretty great. But, you know, whatever.
It's
Whatever.
okay. It's okay. The people know now, Johnny.
Okay. Mayor McCheese, we love the mayor, but he's made a statement that Wings was a good man. I'm not sure.
We've talked about this ad nauseum before. Wings is like, it's not that it's bad, it's just that, like, I just don't know what they ever really doing or saying. And it sounds huge, but man, I'm just like, why is it so huge? It's big for bigness sake, you know? It just feels, it's an obtuse statement with like this much depth to it. It's like, okay.
I just don't know.
It's like,
don't know.
well, it's like
I
Paul,
mean, I do kind of love Band on the Run.
Yeah.
Band on the Run. But I don't know.
What's the other one? What's the other one? The big,
There's no other one.
there, yeah, it's the, you know what I'm talking about.
Good joke. No, I don't know. I'm sure there is.
see. I'm pulling it up now.
Rob says he's swinging by the end of August to a job. Awesomeness. Very cool. Yeah, I would really like to go to one of the Crossroads Blues Guitars things. I
Live
would like
and
to work
let
that out.
die, Jonathan.
Whatever.
Live
Whatever.
and let die.
Is that a thing?
Silly
Yeah, I mean
love songs?
that one's cool too.
Listen, I hate Jet with a passion. Like, if I could murder a song with an axe, I would murder Jet with an axe.
Really?
I do not like that song. Jet! No, 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 no.
It's bad. It's not good.
Not good.
It's not. It's
good,
not so
baby.
good. Oh!
Not good.
Got a Don Felder assistance fund.
Whoa!
We're going crazy
I
for
love
lunch
that,
today.
dude. We are going
Maybe
nuts.
maybe we get some wings for lunch today.
Look at that, dude. Don and his Felders.
Jet is a masterwork.
Jet is a master. Who said that? Who said that?
Richard Clark.
Richard Clark.
I'll let you and him fight it out.
And Junior's Farm is straight rock and roll. Listen, I mean, I don't know. It goes
Junior's
back-
Farm is actually I do enjoy that, like, occasionally.
Well, maybe for
but-
me, and like with Jet, it's like the Hotel California thing.
Jet,
I heard it
I'm
way
just not
too
into
much.
Jet.
Let's see, what else we got? I just want to pull through these songs real quick. Let's just get into
Let's
like,
get
let's
into it.
talk about
Let's get
Wings
into
a little
it.
bit. Let's get into it. All right.
Let's get into it.
Let 'em in. That's a little jazzy tune. You know that one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sit down and
Oh,
let 'em in.
God bless you, Mighty Woodrow. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
We can't really play it.
No, you
can we?
can't play it because we'll demonetize.
What
I thought
a
you were
load
just
of
pulling
shit.
up like all the songs, you know.
Oh, I got them pulled up. This is like hits after hits after hits, right? We'll go down there.
You say it's your birthday. I hate that song.
Well, somebody told me once, they said the thing with Wings is it's like McCartney and the Beatles, but you let them be unleashed, and there's no amount of anybody saying, hey, Paul, that's cheesy. Let's not do
There's
that.
no like great producer in the Wings going,
Yeah.
you know what?
There's nobody
Let's
hammering
pull that
thing
back
in.
and I'll write you a nice string section. Hold on.
Yes.
Now,
Silly Love Songs does kick, though. If somebody called me out in there, I will say Silly Love Songs is kind of
I did. I mean, okay, it's fine. It's like the Carpenters. No, I did see an interview with Paul one time where they were asking about the Beatles, and he's like, to everyone else, the Beatles are like some big thing. He's like, to me, it's just some band I was in my 20s. And then he like kind of insinuated that like he moved on to real things with like Wings and stuff. And I was like, man, I don't know. That's I mean,
Survey says
it's Paul, but he's
you're
allowed
wrong.
to have whatever take he wants in his own life. Like I get that, but also,
of course.
and
but
I could understand like doing this thing like early on, and then like the rest of your life being judged.
all
I
those
can understand that too.
childish songs,
you know?
like Revolution or any of
yeah.
those bullshit songs, Eleanor Rigby. Ugh.
All that stuff, all
Childish.
that crap.
It's nothing compared to Say.
Well, I mean, like, listen, this is total fantasy. Like, this could never happen. But let's say somehow you had a band like the Beatles, like a legit creative force that was like actually some new thing.
Literally changes the world of music. Go ahead.
Like, do you think the Beatles were served? Like, when they said, you know what, screw this, we cannot perform live because we can't hear ourselves with the fans because they didn't have the PA stuff over the time. Plus, a lot of the songs they were doing later, like they just forgot about writing. Like you're not gonna write an Eleanor Rigby and do it and then think, oh, I'll never be able to do this live, right? Like, do you think that helped them actually make the records they made because they kind of said screw that?
It was freeing. Yes, I do. And I'll tell you what drives me insane in any project that I've ever been in is the moment somebody says, whenever you're messing around recording some stuff, they go, well, we can't pull that off live. I'm like, shut up. We'll just play it on guitars and basses and leave it alone. Like, what are you
these
talking
days,
about?
right? Like, you could hear the Beatles could do all that stuff. They just do it
With
with
tracks. Yeah. But also, I'm kind of
I'd
like,
almost rather see them do it stripped down.
yes,
live,
without the
but
tracks.
that's
Like,
just us.
isn't that cooler? And then you can listen to this massive record.
The Mighty Woodrow says, "Live and Let Die" was killer when Guns N' Roses played it. Man,
He gets it. He gets it, dude. That's what I'm thinking of in my head, that big sound, baby.
Mary Chi says the Beatles were never really a touring band. Wings is where they had to be a proper touring musician to feel like he paid his dues. I would say he paid his dues in Germany before they were the Beatles. You know what I mean? Like, all that time in friggin' Hamburg being a house band, I would say he's paying your dues, you know? I mean,
Somebody caught that, sorry.
what?
Huzzah on the shade thrown on Say. Now listen, I do want to say about Say. It's like a guilty pleasure song for me. I do like hearing that song being like, that's kind of dumb. Ridiculous. Yeah,
What are you going to do?
man. I mean, so
Brian Wilson left the road too. He was also kind of insane.
Yeah, he lost his mind. It's not
But,
fair.
you know, I mean, you know.
What
like,
I do
like,
wanna-
but yeah.
Who we've had this conversation
times.
before. Beatles-wise, who had the most prolific career afterwards, and who had the most career of substance and matter? That's a hard argument. I think it does come down to Harrison Lennon. That's just my personal take. I think as time goes on, we see those two kind of still lift on, but is it because they are no longer with us that continues onward?
That is a big, you can't
That's the
overlook
question.
that. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to.
When Paul
Something
McCartney
about-
dies, are we all going to go, oh, we get it now?
I mean,
I'm
Paul,
not.
Paul is amazing.
He's
right?
amazing.
Like, he is just
I love
amazingly
Paul.
talented.
Yes.
But I almost feel like Paul was like the amazingly like good-looking, talented one, but like
Yeah.
John was the horrible person, but also the most creative.
He was, I think,
You know, but then
Yeah.
George is like the quiet, like maybe almost as creative, but just quiet. Like,
Yes.
that's his personality.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's the quiet Beatle, but you know.
well, and I love so much more of what George Harrison went on to influence and do throughout the rest of his career.
Sure.
Compared to Paul McCartney, Sir Paul McCartney, we'll say.
Sir Paul.
To where now, obviously, everybody probably knows my favorite is gonna lie with like a John Lennon because he's a narcissistic asshole prick. But
Takes one to know
I
one.
love Imagine in Full. That record is beautiful.
Well, like, I mean, we would have seen the. I think we'd have seen the
Seen
Beatles
them
get back together.
I think in the
each other
80s
got killed.
it was going to happen. I think
They were hanging out.
inevitable.
There's that story about how they almost walked down to the Tonight Show.
Yes.
You know.
And they did.
Imagine if that would have been insane.
Holy
People would have
hell.
lost their
been
minds.
like-
All hell would have broken loose. We might have had riots, but you know.
Who knows? World peace might have been achieved right then. Everybody would have been like, the Beatles are back together. It's okay.
Ned says the Traveling Wilburys are way better than Wings. I mean, honestly, if I'm going to listen to one, it's the Traveling Wilburys, to be fair. But it's also not fair because it's like
You're
everyone.
going to feel a little bit cooler listening to the Traveling Wilburys. Because somebody's going to ask you, hey, what's this? And you're going to say, well, let me tell you.
This is Paul McCartney's vanity project. No. Yeah.
That's what it would be.
Like,
That's what it
we
would
hate
be.
you.
That
Oh
would
my
be
God.
Wings. You'd
I'm
have
sorry.
to be like,
I'm
well,
sorry. I'm sorry,
'cause
Mark Stan.
At some point today, somebody would ask, in today's time, they would say, what is this? To either one of those bands. And you got to have an answer. Talking about the Traveling Wilburys is way cooler than talking about Wings.
BLDRV7 says, after watching Get Back, I think Ringo's the road.
Matt
hero.
Waters
I mean,
says, I hope those bracelets give you beautiful tan lines. They do, actually. I'll pop them off for you,
that's
man.
hilarious.
Just so you can see. I noticed that the other day.
John would be doing collabs.
Amazing.
Machine Gun Kelly if he was still alive. That would kind of be amazing. Okay, anyone who's not watched this video, he says anyone who gave Yoko a mic during a jam with Chuck Berry. Anyone who's not ever watched that and watched Chuck Berry's face,
That shit's
you're doing
hilarious.
yourself a disservice. It's maybe the funniest thing I've ever
I
seen.
wish we could talk about Chuck Berry's other greatest hit.
We can't.
I know we can't. We're
It's not-
sworn
this
to
is a-
secrecy.
This is a family show.
By rock and roll
It's a family
historians
show.
all around.
But dang, there you go.
Yeah.
I love it. Homegrown son giving you some love, Sean. He says, Jeff Lynne's talents, writing, arranging, playing, and singing are exceptional, and Sean might be more Jeff than Beatle.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Sean is about to launch his singing career.
I am. I'm meeting up with some boys on Saturday. One of them's getting a tattoo, so I'm hoping that he'll be
Getting
good to
tatted
go.
up.
Getting ripped and blistered. We'll see what happens.
I need new tattoos. I'm going to get face tattoos.
Y'all talking about my...
I tattoo on my face?
Oh, Mayor
Uh-oh.
McCheese knows what it is.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, wait, no. He's talking about a song. Never mind. It deals with that, though. That's all I'm going to say.
It all ties in.
It all comes
it all
full circle.
ties in.
I do love that story about Chuck Berry punching Keith Richards in the face because he touched his guitar. To me, that's dope.
I mean, just him chewing out, that's my amplifier. That's my...
That's
like,
Chuck Berry's sound. I'm telling you how Chuck Berry plays
I mean,
it.
it's just kind of amazing.
dope,
It's just
dude.
kind of amazing. What are you going to do?
It was a classic sing-along.
I'm more Jan and Dean than Beach Boy. There you go.
What about the Mamas and the Papas?
Nah.
You know, I like that one song. Dedicated to the one I love. I like that.
No matter what else is happening, that's all everybody needs to know.
All right.
A swollen pickle.
What?
It's the answer. It's the answer. Didn't Chuck do time? I don't know. Did Chuck Berry go to prison and do time? There. Search it. Find it out.
Jamie, look it up.
Jamie? I don't know.
Didn't Chuck do time? More
should've.
Axl or Slash? Yeah. I mean, is there any other band that you could look at like the
He
Beatles?
served time in federal prison.
When was that?
Just like Merle Haggard.
1962 under the Mann Act for transporting a 14-year-old across state lines for sexual purposes.
What?
He was sentenced to 3 years, but after appeals, ultimately served 1.5 years. From
Good
February
Lord.
1962 to October 1963.
Said this would never happen to Jerry Lee Lewis, damn it. Whoa. Johnny.
Well,
knows
there
his
you
shit.
go. Moving right along. Have y'all seen that Herman Lee PRS?
We have. Johnny
How
loves
could
it.
how could we miss it with Big Phil McKnight giving it the old the Know Your Gear treatment?
He said, "Oh,
Listen,
boy."
I don't like it, but I can respect it. It's very thin. And I kind of like, I like that it is. We were actually talking to the mayor about that this morning. I kind of dig that it's a limited production. You know.
I mean, it is funny, and I think you said it this morning too. I said it yesterday. I was like, how are they not getting sued by Music Man? That's a majesty, like all day.
And it also harkens back to some guitars. Like, do you remember those? Like, what were they? Like the Brian Moores that had the jack like that, and then a lot of Ibanez things. So like, it's kind of funny to me that PRS was willing to do all that stuff. That's like not their aesthetic, which I think is interesting and kind of cool.
Listen, yeah, love or hate Paul, the one thing that I think he actually does lean into very well.
He keeps the aliens away.
You're damn right.
He's Paul's like the Sorcerer Supreme. If you guys have seen Doctor Strange,
I heard that he's got contact to the space laser as well. He is the one who knocks. So
when they say take us to your leader, it all
comes back down to Paul.
Yeah.
But Paul, whenever he works with an artist, it seems like he goes out of his way to deliver for the artist and nothing else, which is kind of cool.
I have no comment, however.
Nick made a comment. That's all we can say.
Nick did comment. I love it.
Nick
Those are some deep cutaways. Phil McKnight calls it the handshake, where he holds it. See, whatever. I love Phil McKnight, by the way. This is no disrespect to Phil McKnight, because he did say that I had the best Magnetone video on the internet,
on
YouTube,
Earth.
On Earth. So, anyways, I think it's like 7K, isn't it, James White?
I think it's right at 7.
I think it's right at 7, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's up there. Brian Carpenter says, as thin as it is, it still has violin carves, which is a unique decision. I mean, you know, like whether you dig it or not.
Isn't this the guy that snapped a neck off of a guitar?
Or he does the thing where he kicks it and it's just coming out.
They
I can never decide if that was, exactly. Maybe we should have thought
like
reinforced.
Yeah.
Some titanium beams in there, beams. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I think titanium beans could help too, though. I think, you know. Little nodules in there holding that bitch up.
Listen, why even have a neck? Let's just have the strings. And a little
like that
little
skateboard
bar to put
guitar
your.
and
It's
stuff.
like that. That was Alex. Alex sent me that. Alex Holden. I told him, I was like, man, I think I'd beat my hands into the things, but I don't know. Hiram Abiff.
We could also talk about this as we've been talking about music and the comeback action. Led Zepp, dude. Talking about
Zepp.
Derek said there's rumors circulating of them coming back. Do we want that? Philip McKnight.
You're damn right, Surrender.
That's pretty great.
That's exactly what I want on there. Christy, if you're watching,
That's dope. You're
get it
getting a
ready.
shirt
Start
now.
saving now. I want one of those big granite things.
That's awesome.
Not a little one. I want one of those big things. It looks like a monument. That's all I wanted to say. I don't want it to have my name or the year. Nothing. Just that.
Brian Carpenter said on that guitar they had to. Oh, it just bumped. They had to do an extra long neck tenon for stability. Trogley's going crazy right now.
Trogley's rolling in his grave, but he's
I can't
alive.
believe they
Still.
did that.
Maybe he's a vampire. Back to the important thing you were saying. I'm sorry.
Led Zeppelin. Dude, would you want to see Led Zeppelin now? You asked, and you're like, does Robert Plant even still have that kind of, you know?
I say they shoot him up with
Everything.
steroids, send him out, and do one big blowout.
I want to see the
That's it.
roll of pepperoni
Yeah.
in his pants.
It's like a roast.
Down. He's like,
A whole pork roast down there. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Do we want to see him? I feel like
would,
everybody's like, what's the right answer? I don't know.
For me, it would have to be like I'd want to take my grandma and go see it with her and like see the whole.
Imagine Led Zeppelin like back in the day in the 70s. Imagining some kid saying one day, I really want to take my grandma to go see these guys. like that might be the
kinda
greatest
dope. Yeah.
thing for a band and also the worst thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
You know what I love? My grandma only has one bad music take,
oh,
and it's Eric Clapton.
your grandma's a saint. You watch out.
I would have
watch
wanted
out.
to see them the first time around.
I will say this.
Bang.
I love, well, forget Sean's bad opinions. I love Eric Clapton, and he's always been towards the pinnacle for me, just from when I started playing guitar. And then I went through a phase where I was like, I don't want to see him. I didn't want to see him live.
Hang on, let me pull this out of your mouth real quick. Okay, no, say that again. Sorry, it was.
I'm glad it's a family show. No, it's
We have an F-bomb fund. How can this be a family show?
Listen, that's fine. Kids need to see things in right context sometimes.
Oh, that's funny.
What I'm saying is,
Speaking of, Tom just popped in.
Tom's just here.
That's
Tom, you
right
haven't missed
on
anything
time.
great today yet. I'm just saying, I wouldn't have wanted to see him for a while because I kind of felt like he was down. He had that whole nerve thing going on.
Yeah.
He was like couldn't play half the time. Very like.
And then he came back swinging like an
I don't know if
ox,
they've like given him cyborg arms.
Has gotta stop. You know,
They made
he's
those
grinding
slow
in the
hands
dirt.
extra smooth and velvety. He's all tweeted up with his mid boost and his Fender Strats. But I would like, and I'm kind of thinking, man, now might be the time to go see him. He's looking all good and thin, lean. Maybe he's doing drugs again. I don't know.
He's wearing that big coat. It's like 105 degrees. He's out there. And
Sean.
he's like,
Old people have thin blood. Don't worry, it's coming for you.
he's boiling in the sun.
It's coming.
with
He's
that
like,
thin
no.
blood.
It feels great out here. It's nice and warm. It's 100 degrees. He's like, man.
Sean Washburn said, "I'll take my grandson." What is that?
It's like, I wish, because you're taking your grandma.
Oh, I'm taking my grandma. I hear what you're saying. Okay, I was like, what does that mean? You're getting weird, man. Nah, I'm just kidding. All right.
The Itchy Bretta says, props to grandma. I like it.
Yes, she's awesome. She listens to it. She's actually showed me all the dope music. Like before I was like 8 years old, I had heard Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, big Tom Petty household. Tom Petty was everywhere.
Hard to go wrong with Tom Petty.
Can't go wrong with Tom
I was
Petty.
saying this morning, my hot take on the Led Zeppelin thing would be that they're like, guys, we got to do this just to do one good live show. They finally get it right. No, I mean, I'm sure they had some
I
good
don't
ones.
think
They had some
Page
rough
has
ones,
the
though.
chops anymore. You know, Jimmy Page just saw this and he said, "I'll show you."
It
see
is.
you
Sean and I were
later,
talking
too.
about this the other day because he and I have both been in a scenario lately where we've not been playing many electric band shows as we were for a while there. I've been playing a nauseating amount of solo acoustic shows. But, you know, you do what you got to do.
Do what you gotta do.
Not that I don't enjoy them, but sometimes it's like, God, I just want to play electric guitar. But you do lose something. I don't care how much you practice.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you're sitting at home noodling in your living room on the couch or whatever. It's not the same
It is not.
as going out and playing live. So,
It is not.
but maybe Paige is like sneaking into little dive bars in England and playing shows with like a mask on or something.
Well,
Turns out he's Buckethead. No, I'm just kidding.
It is
I don't know.
odd that, like, what has he really done in the last 40 years? Not to knock him at all, just because I'm out of the loop of that. I know they did the 2006 thing. I know that they had he played with the Black
He
Crowes
did the
a
Black
little
Crow
bit,
stuff. Yep.
right? What I don't know, like, because look at for example, David Gilmour. David Gilmour, Jimmy Page. David Gilmour kept kind of creating music, still creating music. You know, I would assume Jimmy Page is still like. Does that ever go away? You know, or do you think John Bonham died and then he kind of just lost that?
I think a
bit
little
life,
bit of that happened.
Killed him a little bit.
I think
you
it
know?
did a little bit. I think we need to look at Chad B's comment.
Who needs chops when you have tracks?
Oh!
Yeah, baby.
Oh,
there
he gets
it is.
Somebody gets it.
They don't even have to play or sing it. They just
As
got to show up.
long as someone played it right once.
Okay,
You got it now.
let me ask you this. Would you pay a ticket to go see
No.
the three of them sit down, John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, and Robert Plant, sit down in a stadium or an arena, listen back to the first 4 Led Zeppelin records, and talk through that stuff? Rather than perform it and play it, they sit down and they talk through those songs.
I would rather that be a documentary where they're sitting there at the console.
That would be amazing. to
I'd
see.
rather it be that.
That would be
I wouldn't pay to go see
beautiful.
that in an arena. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I just don't know that you get. I don't know that you can do it.
That
in
big sound?
So, yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know if you maybe lose something. I mean, now those 3 guys and Bonham's son, you know, like. But I'd want to see that. I'd want to see that. But I think the time they got to do it now.
They got to do it.
Or they're
now.
never doing it. And
Ned said with Rick Rubin. So it'd be like, I'm not what you'd call a
that's a
producer.
great vibe.
I'm not an
Greg's
engineer.
sold. He'd be in the front row.
I'm a vibe curator.
Here's the question: are they going to use real amps? I'd like to think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Wouldn't it be funny to see them like if they're like, we're going to play the Sphere, and I'm using the UA Lion? Well, okay, cool.
It's really the only thing for my rig.
And the new
Oh.
Supro with IRs built in. Jimmy's trying to get one more show before he gets rolled up in the Diddy. Okay, that is the best. That's the winning comment for today, boys. If that's not the winning comment, I just don't know what it is. I just don't know.
That's amazing.
Mark Stanton says, could you even get all three in a room together?
I think so. All three have been in a room.
Trying a show together.
Derek said he's seeing rumors
Derek's
of
seeing
an O2
stuff.
show in October.
So,
October, November, something like that.
I kind of am with old Mayor McCheese
Yes.
on this one.
Yep.
And I feel differently about this than I do the Felder thing.
Yes.
You know, because like
It just seems
it's a different kind of band, right? The Eagles have always been a little like corporate, like we're the songwriters and I mean,
They
like
cut
it's
people out,
almost a higher
you know.
because you
They
know, like
killed a bass player,
Felder wasn't even
basically.
an original guitar. You know what I mean? It was Bernie Ledden, and then they get Felder, and then he quits, and then you know what I mean. So, but John Paul Jones, maybe I mean, people always say this. I mean, I don't think you have him without John Paul Jones.
I don't understand how has there been any rumors or footage of them like having it out with John Paul Jones in that way at all? Because I mean, he still is clearly extremely regarded. You know, he's went out and did the them Crooked Vultures thing. He did another project. I forgot what it was. He's done stuff with Josh Homme.
Yeah.
Like, there's a bunch of things out there like that he's done, which I think is amazing. It's just odd though that he wouldn't be involved because he's so much involved with younger musicians.
Here's a good question. John Contos says, "What if the 3/4 of Led Zeppelin did an unplugged show again?" I think they could do that with John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page,
Yep.
and then Plant singing. Now that to me
Would
kind of be amazing. Like, imagine if they. I mean, they couldn't do like kind of mid-sized, like slightly more like Performing Arts Center kind of like it just wouldn't.
But if they
but
did,
that would be amazing.
it would be killer. It'd be
That
nice.
that at the Sphere might be badass. You
If
know?
they did that and capped the tickets
Uh-huh.
and said, hey, this is just what it is. If you get a ticket, you get a ticket. If you do not, you do not. I'm sorry. Here we go.
So there you go. Yeah, no, Mayor. I'm with the mayor, kind of on this one. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you leave out John Paul Jones, because he's kind of the man. What are you gonna do?
The Swans. Swans are good.
Bass players are always the mayonnaise in the egg salad. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. If anyone ever looks at you and says you're the glue that holds this band together, pack your stuff. Your days are numbered.
He's right.
Like it's fine to say that about someone, but if the band ever says that to you, it's over.
That's a little
It's over,
strange.
boys.
It's like, but
over.
what I bring to the table isn't
It'd be like if you're ever down on yourself and you're like, man, guys, I just don't know, and they're like, no, man, you're the glue that's holding us together. They've probably already got your replacement. They've probably already got your replacement. It's kind of like
It's
Baxter. I
already
don't know if you guys remember Baxter's story about his first band of like the Leonard Skinner guys, and he walked in one day with his amp, and there was another dude there set up.
It's brutal. That's like a brutal way to be like, you're
We've
out.
all been there. We've all been there.
World, boys.
We've all been there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it
That's
actually
all
feels
I'm saying.
like summer.
Unannounced unplugged show at Ronnie Scott's.
Damn, Tom.
What'd Tom say?
Tom put me out. He said, here you go. Listen, Tom.
Ouch.
It's different when you know the
Ouch.
truth. All right? When you know the truth, you start to live with it. You live in that darkness, Tom.
I need to hear about Carol Kay hitting Ned with her bass one time.
That's actually kind of cool.
Listen, here's some breaking news for you guys. Ned has a solo acoustic show coming up.
I did see that. It looks badass.
I think you and I both commented. No bozos. Cuts a lot of us out probably. But otherwise,
No bozos.
wouldn't it be cool if we could all show up at Ned's show? That would make me happier than anything.
Yep.
Alas, I think it's farish away.
The truth will set you free. The Gorilla Glue. Sorry, there. Oh wait, here we go. We're getting the rest of that. I walked up behind her and she turned and whacked me with the headstock. And I was carrying 2 plates of food. That's great.
That's kind of even better, honestly.
That's amazing.
That's sort of like Ricky Skaggs giving Sean a pep talk one time.
It was nice.
But that was nice. That was delightful.
That was nice.
What a delightful man,
What a good dude.
Ricky Skaggs.
That's amazing.
This is amazing.
He could tell. He saw in
Son,
my eyes. He said, that
You're
boy's going to end it all one day.
You're gonna go.
He's
I
gonna
better
eat
be
a
nice
bullet.
to this kid. Jesus. Yeah, that's just what you want to hear.
It was rock and roll. It was great.
Super nice and kind of sassy. That's what they should write on Carol K's headstone. Super nice, kind of sassy.
Nice.
But she can make that metronome groove. If that pops up in my Instagram reels one more time,
That's the only
I
way.
knew I had to make the metronome groove. I mean, like, I respect it. I love it. I just think it's funny. But yeah, I've seen it a lot.
Nick Rambles has served Ricky Skaggs lamb.
Whatever that says.
I wish we weren't so fucking illiterate.
I know.
It's okay.
It's his favorite curry. I can get behind some lamb curry. Yeah, I mean,
He's gonna sleep
right?
with the fishes.
He's delightful, right? He's delightful. He's delightful and large. I ran into his back one time because I didn't realize he stopped in front of me, and I just ran into him. And I felt, and then he turned around, all that majestic white hair. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Mr. Skaggs."
I was hoping you were gonna say, like, you went, "Hey, don't you know how to fucking walk?" Like you just like went into this.
Hey, oh asshole! It's like, get the hell out of here! No, it's
Out the way, Junior.
Oh, sorry, Ricky.
We're not all racing to the grave
sorry,
here.
Ricky.
Get out of the way. Oh my God,
You know,
Ricky.
but whatever. Jaya's for lunch. Con knows all the local layout.
It's everywhere.
We haven't
It's
had
everywhere.
Jaya's in like a long time.
Well-
I'm ashamed to say. I know exactly.
It's
That's
hard.
old.
It's hard to do it all
So
the
working
time.
musicians can't eat into.
Hey, Ricky,
Top
you're the
tier.
glue that holds these shows together.
Listen, Ricky Skaggs. I mean, we pick like we know Ricky Skaggs. We've been in the same room with him like 3
We're-
times.
we're best
No, we're not
brothers.
best pals or anything. But that dude's amazing.
Killer dude.
And I mean, he can just play his ass off. Like, go look up some old clips of him. Forget mandolin, like playing a Telecaster.
Yeah.
Whew. He looks like a suave Chewbacca, sort of, when he did that first country album. Derek, can you pull up that cover of like Ricky Skaggs' first solo album?
Ricky.
Kind of amazing. But he's also scary in person. He's kind of if he wasn't so nice,
He's huge.
you know.
He's massive.
I'm just saying. Picky Ricky.
Which one is it, Johnny?
I want to see the one with him. Like, hold on, let me look. Maybe it's not an album cover, but I thought it was. I love him in the. Oh, go back, left. No, the other way. Back to that first on that row. First one. No, the other way. That row you're on, but just keep going. It's my left. On this, keep going. But before the blue suit, keep going. Keep going.
You got this.
Keep going all the way. All the way. That picture right there, the bonus DVD picture.
Hell yeah.
Look at that hair. Look at it. It's amazing.
It's like a Chewbacca.
That's what I said. He looks like a Wookiee, but in the best way. I mean no disrespect, sir. If Ricky were ever to see this, I don't want him to kill me. But that's what I said. He's like a suave Chewbacca. It's amazing. It's amazing.
He's got it down.
Todd Roy gets it.
He gets it. He gets it. I like it.
I'm just saying. He looks
Eyebrows into head.
like my God.
hairline,
Imagine
no
if
forehead.
on the Star Wars screen Chewbacca had stepped on like that. All the ladies would have been like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
But no.
Would have been great.
There you go. That one pic looks like Glenn Campbell. It kind of does. He kind of does look like it. Yeah, you get it, right? I'm just saying.
Don't we?
Ah,
Once a year.
that was pretty good. Pretty good, Todd Roy. You're right there with the rest of us. Jonathan could trim his beard and be Ricky for Halloween. I can never feel the shoes.
Who's gonna
The great
fill
Ricky
their
Skaggs.
shoes? Who's gonna stand?
But I do
up
have
tall?
Mr. Ricky Skaggs to thank for getting to step onto the old stage of the Ryman. That
That's
one
pretty
time.
amazing. He's
So,
a killer.
Yep, which was
Yeah. It was
a highlight for me.
extremely inviting too. Like
Extremely
for that.
inviting,
That was
for sure.
awesome.
Yep,
Like
1,000%.
it's cool.
1,000%. So, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Who's ordered their new Helix Stadium? I know Sean's got 2 coming, so he can run them in stereo.
That's right. Wet dry setup. You know.
Let's talk
Oh,
about.
boy.
We can talk about that, but I'd also like to talk about my hatred for tongue sole tubes.
It runs deep now. They apparently only destroy your beautiful tongue. They take it and
I'll
make
never-
it into
listen.
shit.
Someone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, I'm the GM of Tongue Salt," but I don't believe I'll ever purchase them again because I've discovered the last couple amps I put them in were amps I loved, and then now thinking back in hindsight, I'm like, wow, I sold all those amps after that because there seems to be a very metallic, harsh sound to them.
Yeah, I think that is not.
And I was having a horrible trouble with my one of my beloved amplifiers.
Yeah.
And I just could not get it right, and I was like, "Oh, it's the bias is off, maybe." And then I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna swap the tubes," because I started reading about this online, and some people had similar issues. And when I pulled the one out, the little post just goes, and I think that was the issue the whole time. It was just cracked.
But I think you are onto something because I swapped those Mesa Boogie tubes into my Varsity, and I'm kind of like,
I think it does matter.
That, I'm like,
I think it matters because when I put them back in. Immediately, I was like, "Oh, that."
We got to find some NOS tubes, dude. I want to do NOS tubes, groove tubes.
I have some in my cart for the Tube Depot or whatever.
Yeah.
Or which one is it? Tube Amp Doctor maybe. Let's just see. I just opened my phone to like something about my wife talking about the manager of Applebee's or something.
It's happening.
We can all look at that in a minute. What? Let's see. What tubes do I have in my phone?
Get JJ's.
I do like JJ's, to be fair. Okay. I think that they're probably like, oh man, did I cancel it out? I might have canceled it out. No, surely I didn't. Surely not. There we go. Hold on. No, I did. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I must have. Whatever. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I did have some in my. I'm sure it's still there if I just go to the website, but unfortunately, I didn't save it. I guess. But you can get. They're not that unreasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, for what you're paying for tubes now, anyways.
Well, it'd be cool to try them out in the Varsity and maybe do like some tube testing, like tube sound testing, because we don't have to bias it. We just gotta.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing. It's EL84s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might set some up like that at the house and just run through some tubes like that and like record it, but do a better job than we did on the speaker swap video where I was just like doing the hits. It should be like play through a whole chord progression.
I think that would be cool because the speaker swap in your amp was pretty interesting.
Yeah, no.
You know, I thought about that as well too.
Yeah, that speaker in there sounds amazing.
Listen,
thanks again.
We got a Super Reverb right now with two of the old sort of like Jensen style, like Fender branded original speakers from '69. And then two greenbacks on the top with a master reverb or a master volume added, and the whole thing's been sort of like brought up to like blackface spec.
Yeah.
Whew. That's a good amp.
Yeah, I mean,
I need someone to buy it, so I stopped thinking about it.
It's bad news, dude.
It's good. I still think I will have to say, the Super Reverb behind me, I think is still my favorite so far, of the ones we've had. Like. I still think that overall is a bit. I think that's.
It's weird
cooler.
how different they are.
They're very well. I think a big chunk of that is the greenbacks.
Yep.
I think part of that is an actual '60s blackface. The other one has been modded.
Yep.
And because it's a little more rocky, growly.
Yep.
That one's so smooth. The one behind me.
It's a '69 silver face that's been turned into a blackface. But with that being said, plug it into the one next door. It's like instantaneous Stevie Ray Vaughan, like just spanked to it.
You could crank that one and turn the master down a little bit if you wanted, and then get the like Derek Trucksy kind of like gnarly like.
Like this thing though is like a beast. Cream. Like it's a voice of itself.
It's just like creaminess.
It's crazy.
How are we liking the Victory amps? Y'all try the Jack yet? We've not had the Jack yet.
They're awesome.
But
they're really good.
I think so far.
Yeah.
I haven't spent enough time with the MKs. The MK Clean or the MK Overdrive.
The MK Overdrive is a great amp.
But barring that, I really, 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 really like the Deputy. Deputy's a really good amp.
Yeah, the Deputy is. It's like the best for if you're into like blues rock
just
or
sort of all
anything,
around.
Like it does so much.
The Copper Deluxe is amazing as well.
If you want a Vox style thing, for sure.
The Sheriff is cool. The Sheriff is maybe the most, and I don't mean this necessarily in a bad way, but to me it's kind of the most one-dimensional. Like it does the Marshall thing.
Yeah.
It's got no reverb. You know, it's got this sort of kind of all the Marshall tones going from the low gain to the high gain channel. It's a lot like the M80 with maybe a few more EQ tweaky things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't not like it. I don't play it and think amazing. But the Deputy and the Copper Deluxe,
Killer.
if I was trying to do either one of those, if I was trying to do an AC style amp, the Copper Deluxe would be really high on my list.
Definitely, yeah.
Maybe top, honestly.
I think I would buy that over a box right now. Like, especially if you're talking
1000%.
hand-wired to hand-wired.
1000%. Homegrown Son says, has John tried the Mike Campbell guitar on the Magnetone yet? Unfortunately, it did not hang out long enough for me to even do
I
such
thought
thing.
you got to play it through the...
I didn't play it through the Mike Campbell amp, which
That
is sad.
sucks.
The Mike Campbell amp needs a little loving. And I think I'm finally
Good set of
gonna be-
tongue soul tubes will fix that up, dude.
That's the first thing I'm going to ask any amp tech guy I talk to from now. What kind of tubes do you like? And if they say tongue soul, burn them. No, it's
Yeah. There
it's
he
bad.
goes.
I think that I shall, take it to. I'm thinking about that Zen Amplifiers place.
Yeah.
We don't know them, but they're in Pittsburgh, are kind of close to us, and looking at their website and the kind of stuff they work on, looks like they might be the right place. Tom says, here's a great just point of discussion. The Sheriff sounds like what a Plexi sounds like on the records and not in real life. How long? I think I spent a lot of my guitar playing life chasing sounds on records, not realizing that a lot affected that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then finally realizing, oh, here's what these things sound like in the room in real life.
Yeah. Well, the first time you play a Marshall, at
You're
least
like,
for
God.
me, I was like, this sucks.
This is not right.
It's like, what's up? This is
you
not
know.
the sound that I think. And, doing the whole crank the, like I crank the preamps and then I turn the master volume down. It's like,
Yeah.
no, that's not the sound. It's supposed to,
I mean, it's
you
something
got to
with
play with it.
pedal stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like it's,
Oh,
sometimes
yeah,
you do
pushing
the wrong
that
thing.
amp, yeah.
But that's a good point, Tom. It really kind of is, honestly. Todd Roy, the MK Clean, from what little bit I've messed with it, is actually awesome. I do need to spend some more time with that one. We've got them both, but the one that's like the 30, the MK Clean 30, it's like the 210 combo. First off, it looks badass.
It does, yeah.
It's like a vertical combo. It's right behind us. I think there may have just been a demo shot on that, but
Yes.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, those are killer. Anything with like 210s in it is pretty sick, in my opinion.
There's the new Fenders put out that 62. Was it Super? That's 210s. 40 watts of 210 brown face goodness. My goodness.
You can't go wrong with 210s.
I'm a little hopped up about that one. I can't wait. What do we think of the Peacekeeper speaker by Celestion?
I've not heard it.
I don't know. I don't even know if I know about what it is. Is it like one of those you can turn down?
Yeah, has it got like an attenuator on it built onto the speaker?
Ooh. This is interesting. We'll check this out.
Speaking of
65 amps. 65 amps is one of those amps that they were like the thing for a while, and then it's like they just kind of seems to me like they just kind of fell off the map. You know what I mean? I know they're still obviously great, but for a while it was like you saw them everywhere. They were like the boutique amp, and then
have you ever played those Headstrong amps? You ever play one of those?
no, but
like,
everybody
first
raves
time?
about them, man.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
I know Simo's playing one. I saw that. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
no,
that's
I
cool.
mean, by all accounts, they're like the best vintage Fender. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But this thing, the running all manner of tubes through them at multiple voltages, I'd like to see that.
Yeah. Here's a new one. You
Talk
ready?
about nerd.
Combo amp versus head and cab.
Easy.
Combo.
I've always been a combo
Yes.
kind of guy.
Listen, I love the aesthetic of
Me
a
too.
head and cab, but I just feel like combos always just make more sense for me whenever I'm, you go out to play. It's like,
Man,
I don't like
if I had roadies,
yeah,
I'd have all head and cabs.
Yeah.
If I was in a studio all the time, head and cabs. If you're like a working blue collar man's guitar player, you can need a combo. It's just even when I was running vintage Fender heads, like at one point I had like a 67 Bandmaster and a 64 Tremolux, and I was using those a ton. For a while I had those in a little 112 cabinet, and that's what I was using on Broadway in Nashville. And then I was finally like, screw this, and I sent off to Mather Cabs in Virginia, and they built me a combo shell that either one of those chassis would just slide right into. And I turned it into like a deluxe reverb size combo, you know what I mean? So,
pretty fucking dope.
I don't know. I just, no, I do love the aesthetic, and like I said,
Yeah.
if I had roadies. But most of the
great.
amps that I love are combos. A super reverb, a deluxe reverb. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Even in the Marshall side, like a Blues Breaker or like a J. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always kind of, for a while it was an AC 30. You know what I mean? I just love combos.
No, I get that.
I don't know how to say clunky guitars. I'm sorry that I'm saying it wrong. Probably. Derek Truck says the Super Reverb is the best Fender amp ever made. He would say that. No, I think you can make a pretty strong case for that because there's not much you could not do with Super Reverb.
Yeah.
Super Reverb and a Gibson. Whew, hard
I
to
do
beat.
think it is the best Fender amp, one of the best. It sits up there next to Princeton and a Deluxe for me.
All right, that's it. You're hired.
You're in, John.
I'm going to triple what I paid the last guy.
Yes.
Yeah. I wish I could do it. Hard to live with a head and cab. Now, here's a man of the head and cab right here. The Mighty Woodrow.
Yeah. Oh, he is a man of.
He's
that,
the hardest
lives
working
it.
man in show business. He carries them in. He sets them up.
He does it right. I mean, there's no other way to do it, really. If you're gonna
I
do
just, the thing about it, right, is like I get my M80, man, and it kind of fills the void that I kind of want to.
Yeah.
The only thing badass about a head and cab is when you got a badass closed back cab and you get the thump. Bum, bum. You know, there's something kind of
Well,
cool about
knock to that, baby.
that. So, you know,
agree.
what are you going to do?
I agree.
I mean, we had a guy bring in an old piggyback of 60, what did you say, 64, 65 man, 64 Bandmaster.
4 Bandmaster. Yeah.
And it was the closed back, the Fender cab that went with it originally. It sounded great.
Sounded really good.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I like about the Fender piggybacks is they got the closed back thing with the Fender here, like especially the Basemans.
I'm partial to
kinda
Tremoluxes.
awesome.
I like those too.
I shouldn't have got rid of mine probably.
They're killer.
I shouldn't have got rid of it.
You shouldn't have done it.
But yeah, I mean you could have both.
Tom,
But I
you
do
dirty
like
dog.
the old combos. But combos win just on convenience for me. We're a man of convenience. The Peacekeeper is a new speaker by Celestion to be used with loud amps. It lowers decibels, has about I get it now. The Peacekeeper. I kind of want to look into that. That's actually kind of neat.
I'm baffled.
Tom's got a point.
We're gonna have to look into this and check that out.
The Mayor McChee says, I'm putting a Creamback and an MPEG Gemini. I'm building a cab. Creamback is one of my all-time top favorite
You like
speakers. Hard to beat the old Creamback.
Not
They're
bad.
good.
I like the ones that I've
They're
heard.
not bad, he says.
They're not bad.
They're kind of like Clapton.
Yep.
Man.
Not bad, just not good. Oh.
There's a sound with larger space in the physical geometry of cab, especially 412. Yeah, that's true. And that's especially true if you're in a situation where like the Nazi of a sound man will let you actually have your amp be loud in the space. like if it's producing some of the sound, right? If it's like the way God intended and the PA is just sound reinforcement,
Yeah.
then yeah, at 1,000%. But if you're hearing it all from the mic,
Yeah. Well, we've talked about that
I don't know
so
that it
many
matters,
times.
you know what I mean?
Like if you just if you're a sound guy out there, imagine this. You see the amp on stage, right? What if its job was not to come through the house speakers and make all the sound? It was meant to come off the stage. And then in the house, you pretended that was an amplifier for the vocals. And then whatever you add into that, pretend that it's like a little bit of bleed behind it to reinforce it overall.
Too simple.
It's crazy,
Too
right?
simple. Just to fill the room, right?
That
Like,
always
just enough to fill the room.
Yeah,
Tom gets it.
he does. Clapton is the glue that holds us together. It's true. You know, I don't think me and you had a Clapton conversation for the first 5 years of knowing each other. Honestly. Seriously.
Sean is like, I just can't bring this up.
Yeah, no, we just never talked about it. But you didn't really were like, oh, he's the pinnacle for me. You know, I was like, oh.
Because he's probably not the pinnacle for
We
me.
never really talked
Like, I
about
don't
it.
think he's,
Yeah.
it's not like I think Clapton's the greatest guitar player.
Oh, you think he's God. I get it.
Well, yeah, it's different. Besides, gotta stop.
No. Yeah. But no.
I just love Clapton. He just has a special little place in my heart. I think he's kind of.
No. I've always, you know, I respect.
But I mean, I think they're obviously better players, and there's probably players I prefer to listen to at this point. I just have a soft spot for.
Well, that's
for
like,
Clapton.
I remember going through a huge Jimi Hendrix phase at like 18, 18 to like 20 and like thinking it was everything. And now whenever I listen to it, it's almost like okay.
I'm the same,
burned it
right?
out,
And
yeah.
same. And Clapton led me to Hendrix, honestly. So
Yeah.
But I kind of want to hear more about this comment from the old Mighty
Here we
Woodrow.
go. I have a creamback in my Origin combo.
Now I'm confused. Clapton's the glue that holds. Todd Roy getting it again.
The world together.
He's not really, but he's awesome.
Well,
but,
that's why John Mayer's just waiting on the world to change. There you go.
Wait, man. Wait, I think the world has changed.
I think
John is the generation now.
so. Yeah.
Tom says, I always want stage volume unless you have in-ears. Guitarists should too. Good tone can be killed by bad monitors and you will never hear your vocals over the guitar. 1,000%. I mean, like, it's such a funny thing live, right? Like, singing, man, you got to hear your vocals. Like, talk about losing your voice or not sounding good or thinking you sounded good and then hearing the video or the tape back and being like, oh my God. You can't sing good if you can't hear yourself. I mean, I can't. Maybe good singers can, but I can't.
I
Me
have
as
no
a
idea how you do that.
lower end mediocre singer, have played plenty of shows where I did not hear myself, but
Yeah.
it's never the best.
The only thing right now that I enjoy if I can't hear myself is I can't hear how bad I probably am.
And Tom says the monitor EQ can be drastic to stop feedback. That's true, and that's why I always hate the way monitors sound. So I don't ever want to hear my guitar through the monitor.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever, ever. Last ditch effort, you know.
Yeah.
Also, the guitar usually sounds horrible in in-ears. I mean, all these things have. That's not like the gospel. I mean, there are exceptions, but generally, your guitar usually sounds pretty bad in in-ears as well. So for me, the best setup is enough stage volume that I can hear my guitar and feel it a bit, right? And then a monitor that has enough oomph that I can really hear the vocals. And then everything else, I just want to hear it as if it is in the house. Like I don't understand sometimes people who are like, I just want to hear, like mostly themselves.
Yeah.
I actually play worse that way because I feel like that's all. I can't find the groove. Like I just want to hear it like a well mixed show, and
For
then
me, it's
but I
like,
just want to hear my voice.
I want to hear like the kick drum, being able to feel the kick drum coming up from the monitor, and then also the bass as well, having that like kind of groove going, because that's where I feel like the groove lives. You'll be able to hear all that hi-hat cymbal shit. Clapton is no Tyrone Vaughn though.
Well, that's true.
You
You're
got that
true.
right.
Who is? Who is? Oh, a hot take
My mama died.
from the Mighty Woodrow.
What'd he
Piss on
say?
in-ears. Yeah, I don't enjoy
Whoa.
them. I don't enjoy them.
Hot.
I can understand when they're occasionally necessary. If you're playing like, dumb pop music. But,
Ned has played a show or two, dude. Here's how you know. 4 beers, 2 shots, no monitors.
that's when you get
all gas.
It does sometimes
No
get me like when
audience.
like listen, if you're headlining a major like venue for real and you're there like hours before to get the sound check and then you're going to catering, yeah, man, be nitpicky about your monitor mix, right?
Yeah.
But you're in a little club or somewhere that you're somehow have a sound person. If you can hear yourself, shut up. Like that's it. Be done. You know what I mean? It blows my mind how nitpicky some people are about that stuff.
I've always gone.
I'm just like, man.
I've always gone with that MC5 mentality. You just fucking go for it.
Like I said, I do
Pick
want
out
to hear
the
myself.
jams,
But I mean,
motherfucker.
like it's just
Go.
you got to sometimes realize where you are.
I've kicked a monitor off a stage before.
Tom says you need a good monitor desk to really make it. Yeah, I mean, you need that. You almost need somebody who mixes your in-ears all the time. Or I mean, it's just it's hard.
You
It's
gotta
such
have
challenge.
you gotta have a dude that's his job.
And you got to have the friggin' ambient mics. You got to have the crowd mics
Yeah.
for ambient noise. To me, to make the in-ear, or else
it's
they
weird.
just sound so
Yeah.
flat and one-dimensional, and nothing sounds good like that. You know what I mean? That's what everyone wants to hear is a close mic SM57, and that's the
Ooh.
only little bit of your guitar.
Ah, nice.
Listen, Sean, when he reruns sound, doesn't close mic. And I know some of you are gonna be like, "Oh my God!" But it does sound. I think it sounds so much better.
Pull it
We're
back
not talking
a couple
like
inches.
20 feet
Yeah,
off.
no.
We're
But like,
talking
you
like
know, I think you
you
got
know.
6 to 12 inches in there that you can kind of play with. You guys know all about that, right? Playing with 6 or 12. Let's see.
Okay, let's read Jack's stuff. Our band gets some shit from older folks because we were 100% digital for live performance. Laptops running playback. Guitar preset changes via RTP, MIDI, vocal effects, etc. No stage volume.
How cringe. 1 out of 10.
I think I'm probably the old guy. I don't like it.
Well,
But I mean, I understand that is a different mindset. It's probably a different generational thing, and you know, it depends on what you're doing too, right? Like, you know, for what you're playing, I don't know what you're playing, but if you're playing certain things, it's probably just fine. But I mean, there's some bands around here that do it that are fine,
Yes.
and it's whatever.
Well,
but I wouldn't want to do it that way.
I don't do anything that way, personally. But what I will say, from running sound at the Rooster or anywhere else, or playing gigs with other bands, the issue I think comes in is not that, right? It's not that you're using all that stuff. I know there are bands who use that stuff and make it sound badass, right? It sounds great. Cool. They got it dialed in.
If you got it dialed in, and
Dialed in?
if you're doing shows like that, you probably
Yes.
do.
Well, there's
you know?
a second issue here. The bands that I see do that and run all the stuff digital, the one band in particular made it every other band's problem. And like left it on them as if it was their load, and then got pissed.
And you're talking more like shows where you got 4 or 5 like original bands in the bill, right?
Yes, and they did a 30-minute changeover and acted like, oh, well, it's because of this or that.
That's
Actually,
bullshit right there. That's the kind of thing
Yeah.
that like makes my blood boil.
exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm just like,
that's
oh.
where the issue is. If you use all digital, you use whatever you need to do to make the magic of your art, right? Fuck anybody else. And if you got that punk rock kick-ass attitude about it, you'd be fine. Don't make it anybody else's problem, though. That's like me carrying in my tube amps and stuff like that, or whatever hell. If I'm bringing in 3 amps because I got a crazy-ass rig, somebody else's issue, I need to make.
Listen, on a multi-band bill, you gotta just relax. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I played a thing with a band one time, and they like literally had a separate van of gear, and we were playing this little place that maybe held 100 people, and we were like filming it. And I'm like, what are you dudes doing? Like, you did not need
Overkill.
3 412s. Like, this is
Overkill.
not, you know. But whatever. And I get having your sound too, but you gotta have enough sense to like scale it, which, you know, is ironic because the argument is probably that this is the right thing for a lot of small, and it probably is.
Yeah.
I just enjoy something like that, like in a small club. Take a Princeton-sized thing and crank it. And but you know, Jack, I mean, like, if that's what you want to do,
There
man.
you go.
I don't think it's cringe.
He just hit back on this.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
We run all PA for all our shows, make changes every quick, and accommodate for all bands since we know others might not want to deal with that. We always make sure everyone can do their thing, and we do their mix. Now, listen.
See, dude?
Well, okay. Jack, I'm not talking about you. I'm sure that you really do all these things. I think every band I've ever met that we're talking about would say the same thing. Man, we make it so easy, and we do all the stuff because a lot of people who do that, then they kind of become controlling. And then when you look at them like, oh, I just need a little mic for my amp, they look at you like you got 15 heads. You know, I've done, and that's the only, so Jack, don't do that. But other than that,
I've been
you're
given
probably
that
right.
energy too.
You know.
What I will say about all those bands in our area, at least, is they tend to go around, they isolate within the same group of other jackasses, and that's it. You know, that's their shtick. And they're like, yeah, we'll see. And then they implode after, you know, a year, and then it's over.
Yep.
You're like, okay. Smell you later. But I do believe you in what you're saying.
No, I do too. This is not an attack on you at all, Jack. No. I'm saying that is exactly how it should be.
Yep.
And it sounds like you're probably doing that. I'm just saying there's a lot of that junk that happens. Mighty Woodrow says, I use filter earplugs and it's been a savior for singing. How would I cultivate and keep upgrading my tinnitus if I start using filter earplugs? No, that is actually a really good thing to do it. You know. I'm seeing a shirt color match. Yeah, we talked about it this morning.
We did. We called each other.
Look at us.
Look at that.
Look at us.
Look at that. Bam.
This is a. I mean, he probably can. He's John Mayer. He can do anything.
He can do it all.
He can do it all. Tom Beatty says crowd mics are essential. I would agree with that. I believe it. An in-ear rig is almost as involved as a PA rig. A good in-ear rig it is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always of the thing, like, bring the littlest amount, the least amount of junk for a bar gig. You know what I mean? We're not talking about, like, people are coming to see you and hear your, I mean, you know, like, you want to fill the space with sound and you want to be entertaining. But other than that, don't go crazy. Bring lights. Lights are more, you know.
Here's a little palate cleanser for you. Red tag on the shirt pocket indicates a man of class.
I'm just glad to see you guys get it. Glad to see you get it. I appreciate Jack so much because I feel like he's a good sport.
Yes. Yes.
Which makes me think that he probably
He
is
probably does do these things.
absolutely does it the right
Yes.
way. And John's saying no, we got to, but I get it. I get it too. I just don't necessarily. It's kind of like painting your fingernails. I get it. I'm just probably not gonna do it. I don't know. I get it. You young guys are like, let's paint our nails black. It's cool and edgy. I just probably not gonna do it.
Maybe I'll do that next week. You come in and be like, I'll be like Jason Isabel. I'll be like,
you could do it and it would be fine. I feel like if I did it, everybody would be like, what is wrong with that dude? Oh, he's having his midlife crisis thing.
I feel like I got to do something different than that. I don't know. I just can't. I don't know.
Wait a minute. I feel like Nick.
Not for me.
Okay.
Not for me. Other people got it.
Let's talk about this because it's important. Opinions on the 68 Pro Reverb reissue, looking for an ideal bar club amp. That's actually a killer amp. Yeah. And for that scenario, man, it's kind of perfect. It's light. It takes pedals really well. It does the fender clean amazingly. Yep. It is 40 watts, so you're relatively loud when you get breakup on it.
Yeah.
But not that loud. Like I think it's still in like bar gig, like larger bar gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't think and to me, all the 68 custom line, really good sounding fender amps. Yeah. From the friggin' like the Vibro Champ all the way up. As far they don't make, I don't know if they make the 20 more, but all of them, man. I wish they'd have kept making the Vibrolux.
Yes, I do too.
I can't.
The Vibrolux was killer. I can't believe they did not. I'm Bob. It's just Ned. Ned, you son of a bitch. Kids these days always want a shortcut.
I love Ned so much. That's why I wish we could all go to his gigs.
But yeah,
one day.
Pro Reverb, killer. Highly suggest. Go play one.
Any of those. Pro Reverb, the Deluxe Reverb, the Princeton and the 68 Custom is awesome.
Amazing. All the 68 Customs.
All the 68 Customs. You can't go wrong. New combo amps should all have a good built-in attenuator by now. I mean, I do enjoy it when they have them.
It is nice. It's a good touch.
I occasionally find myself things with attenuators being like, oh yeah, I don't use the because they're it's kind of like cracking the master volume open on an amp.
Yeah.
Once you undo it, you realize, oh yeah, I might not have as much gain as I add, but there's something amazing about it. So, anyways, anything else pressing today, boys?
I don't think so.
I'll tell Ringo you all said hello.
Rango.
What are we gonna do if we get there and Steve Lukather's like, those casino bastards out?
Gonna say,
I've heard him talking junk about me.
He thought I wouldn't hear.
Nothing would make me happier, but my wife would be so pissed.
Do you know who played on Beat It? And you better not say Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, that solo's amazing. Oh my God.
I made that song.
I basically rewrote it for Michael Jackson. Sorry. I'm sure he did.
I'm sure you did.
It's just a bad look.
I'm sure you did, Grandpa.
Look.
Let's get you back to bed now.
Things Joe Walsh would never say.
You're damn right. You think Joe Walsh would be like, I wrote In the City. I wrote Life in the Fast Lane.
I played the solo on Dirty Laundry. No.
He just sits back and he goes,
oh, Mighty Woodrow. Well, let's just throw it out there a little bit.
See? Floating.
He said you had made a little post about some 90s cover bandage, and me and my pal Shanzi here were chatting about it. So we,
Possibly, maybe, perhaps.
it sounded like maybe the right amount.
You should,
commitment.
if I know you're moving into a new house or you've been moving, if you get the time, swing by the shop
You should
and
come here
chat us up.
and talk to us because we had some thoughts.
Let's talk about it.
About maybe joining some forces
Joining
in a fun project.
And we get like Captain Planet rings.
No, my God. But anyways, yeah, man.
Yep.
Dirty Laundry is a great song. It's an amazing song. And it's an amazing guitar song. Joe Walsh is awesome. We'd love to get a guitar lesson from him. Everyone should look up Joe Walsh Guitar Tips. I mean, he's awesome. That was one of the greatest things anyone ever said to me playing in Nashville downtown was we had played some Joe Walsh song. I believe it was Rocky Mountain Way. And some random old man said, man, yeah, I'd love to see you play with Joe Walsh. And I was like, well, I would too. I would too, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
That's
all right.
Nice. That's a hell of a compliment.
We love you all. Wait a minute. We said Woodrow must be from my page. Anyways, we love you all. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell.
There you go.
We'll see you soon.